What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we get to talk about football. We are getting back into the USFL, and we are actually talking about football. That's right. Stuff that's going to actually translate to things on the field. We got the first 4 coaches released today, the names of the coaches for the new USFL. Now, listen, if it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Now, you know I give you a thumbs up at the end of every video, and I'd appreciate it if you'd give me one back down there. You know that every like and every subscribe definitely helps out the channel. And speaking about helping the channel, your comments help the channel out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. First and foremost, we have of the USFL stars, we have Bart Andrus is going to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Stars. The New Jersey Generals, it's going to be Mike Riley. He is going to be the head coach of the New Jersey Generals. And Todd Haley, well, he's going to be the head play caller over there for Tampa Bay, for the Tampa Bay Bandits. That will be Todd Haley as their new head coach. And Kevin Sumlin will be the head coach for the Houston Gamblers. The Gamblers are taking a gamble on Kevin Sumlin. And listen, we are not going to really go into any detail about Gene Chizik. He's been rumored, and we're going to put the quotation marks up there, rumored to be the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions. However, he's already come out on Twitter. He's neither denying it nor saying that it is. Nothing's been finalized according to his Twitter account, but they've been in talks. We'll see what happens, and he might be the next coach that we hear about. But we're going to talk about the 4 that we definitely know about today. So to recap that, we have Bart Andrus, we got Mike Riley, we got Todd Haley, and we have Kevin Sumlin. Let's start off with Bart Andrus, and this is a guy probably that not many of you ever heard about before. Actually, you know what? Let's save that for just a second. I'm going to give you my initial thoughts on all of these guys. I think that this is, I was actually slightly surprised. And when I heard these names, I was pleased with them. I thought it was a really good hires all the way around. I was kind of surprised that they were able to pick up a couple guys that they did. But all in all, I think that this is a really good group of guys, and I'm excited to see what the other 3, possibly 4, are going to be. Now, to get back into Bart Andrus. Bart Andrus is a guy that's been around football for a very, very long time. And he's kind of one of those guys that has kind of been in every kind of level of football and every different kind of alternative league that's been out there, he's been involved with. He's one of those guys, I had no clue who he was until he was the, Team 9 coach for the XFL, meaning all of the guys that were the reserve guys that weren't on a team, but yet we're still signed by the XFL. They were all on this Team 9 practice together and, could get called up to one of the teams. He was their head coach. And then he coached the Generals in the spring league and did a fantastic job with them. Actually, that was kind of my first taste with it and that was such a disjointed thing that season that they tried to pull off in the fall and kind of do this thing. It was actually kind of fun at first, but when they quit giving us games and things would be on off times and stuff, it was just very hard to get back into it. But, his team ended up winning. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure his team ended up winning the championship. They were a fun team to watch. He had the team prepared, they played well. They did what they did. Was some of the other teams, especially that first week, had a lot of trouble, getting things together, moving things together. But he had his team prepared and ready to go. So and he's built, he's done this before. He was in NFL Europe, CFL. He understands, this type of role and where he sits with it. So this is a great guy to have, and he has ties to Woods already. So it makes sense. That one was, a no-brainer for me. Coach Riley was another one. Mike Riley, if you remember, his last stint was an offensive coordinator for the Dragons, and he had to kind of step down and I really liked what he was doing there. Now, granted, it didn't translate into wins for them, and he had a lot of things going on in life that had to pull him away from that, and I think that was part of the problem that the Dragons did have. They were starting to figure things out, but listen, he's an offensive-minded guy. He's a very good innovator when it comes to that. He's a guy who adapts to the team that he has, the talent that he has. He does build up talent. He has coached not only in the professional ranks, but also down in college. He was had stints at Oregon State and did stuff at Nebraska, I think, as well. Sorry, I'm going off the top of my head with that. But I just think that Mike Riley is just going to be a great fit there for New Jersey. He's a guy that understands this space, understands what these guys, that he's getting are coming into. And so I thought that was pretty good. So these two were nothing new to me. These are guys that I've kind of covered before with the XFL, and so they make sense in this space. But the next two guys are the guys that really kind of stand out for me. And I was really surprised to get. The first one was Kevin Sumlin. I didn't think that Kevin Sumlin would be a guy that would come in here and that would, take a job like this, that would come into this space. He's really been a college, head coach. And the way that he is, that he has been, he's not outside of his stint in Arizona, and that just really wasn't a good fit. Overall, he has been a winner. He didn't do what they want. He wasn't that prolific winner that they wanted at Texas A&M, and he led Texas A&M into that weird space where they joined the SEC, and they kind of went from the ranks of the Big 12 to kind of the SEC, and they really haven't figured out the SEC really yet. They're still kind of in that, the upper tier of the SEC, but they haven't really hit that, that Georgia, Alabama top tier level yet. Even under Jimbo Fisher, Kevin Sumlin is a great guy for them to have. He is a big name, and especially having him there in an area that he, his stomping ground, so to say. I think that this is a great pickup for them for having him there. I think that, this kind of fit. It just fits right. It feels right. He's a good coach with this. He could bring in a quarterback that's, kind of more of a, a more dynamic guy and really do some wonders with a quarterback like that. He can really have a nice, open offense that is going to be electric, that are going to make people want to come and watch these games on TV or come to the stadium there in Birmingham and watch them. So I think that he's a really, really good fit for them with that. And he's a guy that that I could see at the end of this propel him into getting another high profile coaching job if he wants it. I don't know. A lot of these guys have kind of been, not really doing a whole lot of late. And so for them to, step in here, I think that this could be his path back on to, getting that higher profile head coaching job again. And it's a place where he's not coming in as a coordinator. He's got full control over everything. And he seems to be that kind of guy. So that makes total sense for me, especially if they're going to get the, not only head coaching role, but they're also going to have kind of a general manager style of role with that as well. That makes sense to have a guy like him in there because you kind of do that as a college coach. So that makes sense. And then to round it out, the guy that really, really surprised me was Todd Haley. And Todd Haley has really been a guy that has just been an NFL guy through and through. He's had a really, really good career. Now, people are kind of left with where he was at with the Cleveland Browns. But like all things, they're just sometimes things just don't fit. And that one really didn't fit. And, I'm not going to chalk it up to him in that you just know that there are just stops in your career and in life that are they just aren't good, and they're just a learning experience. And I think that that's what it was for him. He was, if you think about it, so he was instrumental in building up Tony Romo. And Tony Romo, I don't care what you say, and I'm a Cowboys fan, Tony Romo was a great quarterback for the Cowboys and really, really kind of helped to kind of develop that. If those years with Kurt Warner at Arizona, the Cardinals, that's all him. And, so I think that, having him in here, I think is going to bode well for a lot of these young quarterbacks. I mean, they're going to really be able to, get some nice learning from a guy who's a very aggressive coach. And I think that they need him in this league. He's a big personality. So you're going to need somebody that's going to bring attention to the TV, that is going to make people want to watch it. An offense that's putting up 40 points a game is something that people want to watch. A quarterback slinging the football around the field is something that people want to watch. A big, bombastic guy is what they want to watch. And, for all the criticisms of him, I think that'll fit well in this space. And here's the reason why. He's always been one of those guys, he's hard to deal with. He's he gets into fights, gets into arguments with players. Listen, this is football. That's how it's done. Things aren't always so cut and dry, and you're going to have tempers flare sometimes and that with it. And so I feel like for him being difficult to work with, that's kind of, I would just, not that I would say that I totally disagree with that. I would just say that he's a guy that's going to be real no matter what, and he has a specific style of coaching. And when you get guys who are stars, bullheaded, and that, and and their thing, and you got him who's bullheaded in that, and where he's at, and things clash, that's what's going to happen, especially when it's star players that he's doing that with. So I don't see that happening here. Why? Because these guys aren't star players. They're not going to be. These are not these athletes that are getting paid millions of dollars, that are putting butts in the seats. That's not going to be. These guys are here to learn the game and progress on in their career. And, so they're there to learn, they're there to grow. So you're not going to have these butting of heads. It's going to be my way or the highway, a lot like college ball is. And so that's going to bode well for, Todd Haley, because, he's not going to have to convince somebody to do it his way. He's just going to tell them, you're going to do it my way or go sit on the bench. And that's what's going to happen. So as I see this, I see these all as really good fits. The first two, Mike Riley and Bart Andrus, both of those guys make sense, fit really nice, fit really easily into the space. Kevin Sumlin is kind of one of those I was kind of shocked to see, but it's kind of like, all right, I've seen him lead, some teams at not only mid-major, but also at Power 5 level, and, do a good job of it, especially with, controlling a guy like Johnny Manziel and doing what he did with Johnny Football. So that, I'm excited to see what happens with him in that regard and that level, moving up more into the professional style of football. And then Todd Haley, that one was a big shocker to me. So all in all, I think, if I had to grade this, I would say on merit of everything, if wowed is an A, and so that's a 90 and above. I would say that I'm at probably about an 85 to an 87. It depends upon when you tell me. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this, but this isn't something for me that just has me jumping for joy, that I'm just like, this is crazy. But I will say I was a little shocked that they were going to get the style of coaches that they got. I thought that it was probably going to be more towards, like a 79, 80 grade that I would grade out all of them together. But the last two really put that over the top for me. And listen, I'm kind of excited for the next four. If this is the first four that they let out and they're holding the other ones back, it's either one that they haven't got completed all of the deals, which doesn't necessarily make sense to me, because it seems like they do everything behind the scenes, and then once they get everything together, they give it to you. And so if they're giving us 4 coaches, I would imagine that the other 4 have already been kind of solidified. And maybe the reason why they only did 4 is because, Gene's holding things up because he hadn't signed on the dotted line yet, and he's still playing the whole, college football. I can't say anything, but I'm really going there because everything's not done, and, I have to put on this face type of a thing. Listen, it's not college football anymore, man. You don't have to play that type of game, and who knows what it is. I don't know, but I got a feeling that we're gonna have some even more shocking names come up for these last 4 coaching names. So those are my thoughts. As always, I don't know what you think. Let me know down in the comment section. I would appreciate it if you would do that. And also, I love interacting with you guys. You guys give me some pretty awesome stuff. So let me know down in the comment section. All right, guys, listen, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.